Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something real quick, because a whole lot of women misunderstand how powerful their words are. A man may have a wife, a life, a routine, a whole system he's built, but when he meets a woman who speaks to him in a way that hits his soul, that man gets shook in a way he did not expect. I'm not here to tell anybody to break up a marriage. That ain't my lane. What I am telling you is the truth about how men react when a woman says something that touches a part of him he ain't felt in years. Confidence in your tone makes any statement twice as powerful, and this is something most people don't fully understand. When you speak with confidence, you become unforgettable, because confidence isn't just sound, it's energy. It is a vibration people feel before they even process your words. When a woman speaks with certainty, especially to a man, she communicates something deeper than the sentence itself. She communicates, I know who I am. I know what I bring. I know my worth. And that alone changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. Men don't respond to doubt, hesitation, or fear. They respond to clarity, to solidity, to a woman who delivers her truth like she's standing on solid ground. Confidence is not loudness. It's not arrogance. It's not being bossy or acting superior. True confidence is calm, rooted energy. It's the kind of voice that says, I am secure in myself whether you choose me or not. That tone is what turns heads. That tone is what makes a man stop in his tracks. That tone is what reaches into his mind long after the conversation has ended. When you speak with confidence, you remove the power imbalance. You are not trying to impress him. You are showing him your natural value. A man can sense insecurity instantly, and insecurity makes a man pull back. It makes him question your stability. It makes him unsure about what you want. But a confident tone gives him direction. It gives him assurance. It gives him the signal that you are someone who stands firm and won't break under pressure. Men admire that. Men are drawn to that. Men remember that. Because confidence from a woman is rare, not because women don't have it, but because many women hide it. They tone themselves down. They question their instincts. They soften their words to avoid being judged, and in doing so, they dim the very thing that makes them magnetic. A confident tone also makes a man feel safe opening up. It shows him that you are stable enough to handle honesty. Men have fragile egos, more fragile than they ever admit. They need to feel that they won't be criticized or misunderstood. When your tone is confident, it feels like a safe space. It tells him he can express himself without fear of losing your respect. That alone can shift the entire connection, because most men do not have that space anywhere else in their lives. Confidence also makes your message linger longer. A soft, unsure voice gets forgotten. A shaky tone gets dismissed. But when you speak with certainty, every word lands with weight. It becomes something he replays in his mind. It becomes something he thinks about later when he's alone. It becomes something that makes him reconsider his choices and his priorities. A confident tone also communicates independence. It tells him you don't need him, you choose him. And nothing draws a man closer than feeling chosen by a woman who doesn't depend on him for validation. Confidence makes you the prize, not the pursuer. It places you in a position where he must meet your level, not the other way around. It elevates your presence from ordinary to unforgettable. A woman who knows her worth speaks in a way that makes a man rethink everything, because worth is not something you shout, it's something you carry. When a woman is aware of her value, her whole presence changes. Her tone becomes steady, her energy becomes grounded, and her words carry a different weight. A man can feel it instantly. He senses that she is not chasing, not begging, not hoping for approval. She already approves of herself. And when a woman carries that level of self-respect, it forces a man to pause and evaluate how he speaks to her, how he shows up, and what he's willing to offer. A woman who knows her worth does not cling. She doesn't over-explain. She doesn't try to convince a man to choose her. She understands that if a man cannot see her value on his own, he is not the man she needs to spend her life adjusting herself for. That inner strength makes her voice sound different. Even when she speaks softly, it becomes a voice that commands respect without ever demanding it. A man is deeply influenced by the energy of the woman in front of him. When she undervalues herself, he mirrors that energy. He gives less, tries less, commits less, because she has shown him that low effort is acceptable. But when she knows her worth, her expectations rise naturally, not in a demanding way, but in a dignified way. She doesn't chase consistency, she embodies it. She doesn't chase loyalty, she expects it. She doesn't chase respect, she gives it to herself first. This inner standard forces a man to elevate himself if he wants a place in her world. It makes him more thoughtful about his words, more intentional about his actions, and more aware of the responsibility of being connected to her. A woman who knows her worth also communicates differently. She speaks with emotional clarity. She says what she means what she says, and she doesn't blur her needs with fear. There is no confusion in her conversations because she doesn't hide behind uncertainty. She doesn't wait for a man to guess her feelings or decode her silence. She expresses herself honestly, but without desperation. She can say no without guilt, and she can say yes without fear. This emotional clarity is rare, and men recognize it immediately. It makes them listen more closely. It makes them take her more seriously. It makes them rethink their behavior because they understand that she will not tolerate anything less than respect. A woman who knows her worth also creates a different kind of emotional environment. She brings peace instead of chaos. She brings confidence instead of insecurity. She brings presence instead of neediness. Men are drawn to this energy because it feels stable, refreshing, and mature. It feels like something they can build with, grow with, and trust. Her self-worth sets the tone of the entire connection, turning it from something casual into something meaningful. And a man who encounters a woman like that cannot forget her. He carries her words, her energy, and her presence with him long after she leaves the room. Emotional clarity is more attractive than physical beauty because it reaches a man in a place that looks cannot reach. Beauty may catch his eye, but clarity captures his mind, and once his mind is connected, The rest of him follows. Emotional clarity means you understand what you feel, why you feel it, and how to communicate it without confusion. Most people express their emotions entangled in direct ways: anger hiding sadness, silence hiding fear, sarcasm hiding insecurity. But a woman with emotional clarity communicates with honesty and calmness. She is not dramatic, but she is expressive. She is not loud, but she is clear, and that clarity is what separates her from everyone else. A man doesn't have to guess what she's thinking, decode hidden messages, or fear emotional explosions. She makes his life easier, lighter, calmer. That alone makes her unforgettable. When a woman has emotional clarity, she becomes predictable in the best way, not boring, but steady. A man knows where he stands with her, and this stability gives him confidence in the connection. Confusion pushes men away because confusion feels unsafe. Most men avoid emotional chaos because they don't know how to fix it and they don't want to be blamed for it. But a woman with emotional clarity gives him the gift of direction. She says what she means without attacking. She expresses her needs without apologizing. She can share her feelings without making him responsible for all of them. This creates a healthy emotional space where both people can open up without fear. Emotional clarity also shows maturity. A woman who knows herself can regulate her emotions instead of reacting from insecurity. She can pause before she speaks. She can think before she reacts. She can choose the right words instead of letting hurt or fear take over. This kind of maturity is incredibly attractive to a man because it shows him she is capable of more than passion. She is capable of partnership. Passion fades if there is no stability. Attraction collapses if there is constant drama, but clarity keeps the connection healthy, warm, and growing. A woman with emotional clarity doesn't play games. She doesn't manipulate. She doesn't pull away to get attention or pretend she doesn't care when she does. She is direct, not in a harsh way, but in a sincere way. She tells a man how she feels without fear of losing him because she values honesty over tactics. That honesty builds trust, and trust is the foundation of every lasting relationship. A man may enjoy the thrill of unpredictability, but he commits to the security of emotional clarity. This clarity also affects how she responds to conflict. She doesn't explode or shut down. She communicates. She listens. She looks for resolution, not victory. That emotional intelligence makes a man feel prepared to handle life with her. She becomes someone he can lean on, someone he can build with someone he can trust in tough moments. He knows she won't use his vulnerability against him. He knows she'll communicate instead of condemn. And once a man experiences a woman with emotional clarity, he realizes how rare and precious that kind of connection is. Men respond to certainty, not confusion, fear, or neediness, because certainty speaks directly to a man's instinct for clarity and direction. A man's mind is wired to move toward what feels clear and away from what feels unstable. When a woman speaks or behaves with certainty, she gives him something solid to understand, trust, and follow. Certainty doesn't mean being forceful. It means being grounded in who you are and what you deserve. When a woman is sure of herself, her energy becomes magnetic, her confidence becomes a signal that she is not waiting to be chosen, but instead she chooses where she wants to invest her time and heart. That certainty makes a man step up. It makes him attentive. It makes him rethink the way he approaches her. Because in a world full of mixed signals and emotional noise, a woman who knows what she wants stands out like a light in the dark. When a woman is uncertain, a man senses it immediately. He becomes confused about his role, unsure of how much effort to give, and unclear about where he stands. Uncertainty causes him to pull back because he feels he might walk into a situation where nothing he does is right. But when a woman is certain, she brings stability into the connection. She knows her values, her boundaries, and her emotional needs. She doesn't leave him guessing. She doesn't change her mind based on fear or insecurity. She stays consistent. That consistency gives him confidence. It allows him to open up emotionally because he feels safe with a woman who knows herself. Certainty also makes a woman more attractive because it shows emotional independence. She doesn't need reassurance from a man to feel validated. She already has her own sense of self-worth. This kind of independence doesn't push a man away. It pulls him closer because men are drawn to women who are secure and not dependent on them for happiness. A man feels respected when he is with a woman who doesn't cling to him, but stands beside him. He sees her strength as something rare and valuable. He sees her decisiveness as a sign of maturity. And whether he admits it or not, he admires her for it. Certainty also helps a woman handle emotional challenges with grace. She communicates her feelings clearly without attacking or blaming. She can say what she needs without sounding needy. She can express her expectations without demanding them. This clarity makes a man feel appreciated instead of pressured. It allows him to show up for her without confusion. And because she knows her worth, she never stays in situations where she is treated less than she deserves. She doesn't wait for excuses. She doesn't settle for potential. She doesn't stay where love is inconsistent. Her certainty guides her actions, and those actions command respect. The truth is, men follow certainty like a compass. It makes them feel secure, valued, and motivated. A woman who speaks and lives with certainty becomes unforgettable to a man because she represents something rare: emotional strength, clarity, and self-respect. She becomes the woman he thinks about long after she leaves, because certainty leaves an imprint deeper than beauty, deeper than words, and deeper than anything else he has encountered. One powerful sentence can flip a man's whole mindset, because men are not moved by long speeches, complicated explanations, or emotional pressure. They are moved by clarity. They are moved by words that speak directly to the part of them that feels unseen, unappreciated, or misunderstood. A single sentence said with confidence and purpose can hit a man harder than an hour-long conversation. Men remember moments, not paragraphs. They remember tone, not details. They remember the sentence that woke something up inside them, because that sentence becomes tied to emotion, and emotion is what leaves a permanent mark. When you speak one powerful line, that reaches him emotionally, he connects it with the feeling of being valued, understood, or respected. That connection stays with him long after the moment passes. A powerful sentence works because it is simple. Simplicity is strength. When you speak simply, your message is pure. There are no distractions, no mixed signals, no hidden meanings. A man hears it clearly, and clarity makes him act. Complexity confuses men, but simplicity motivates them. For example, when a woman says something like, "I believe in the man you're becoming," or "I don't chase. If you want me, show me," that directness forces him to think differently. Those kinds of statements hit him in the chest because they expose truth, confidence, and emotional depth all at once. It's not about manipulation, it's about alignment. A powerful sentence aligns your truth with his reality, and that alignment creates a shift. A man responds to powerful words when they make him reflect. Reflection is rare in men because life keeps them distracted. Work, pressure, expectations, responsibilities. But when someone says something that touches him deeply, it cracks open a moment of awareness. He becomes aware of his behavior, his decisions, his mistakes, and his desires. That awareness shifts his mindset. He begins to question what he's doing, what he wants, and who truly sees him. A powerful sentence can make him reconsider his choices without you ever raising your voice, pleading, or arguing. Emotional impact beats emotional effort every time. What makes a sentence powerful is not just the words, it's the intention behind them. If you speak from fear, desperation, or insecurity, your words lose strength. But if you speak from confidence and self-worth, your words become unshakable. Men can feel the difference. They feel when a woman is speaking from a place of need versus when she is speaking from a place of truth. Truth is magnetic. It draws them closer because it creates emotional safety. A man feels safe with honesty even when the truth challenges him. A powerful sentence also changes the dynamic because it creates boundaries without aggression. It tells him who you are without attacking who he is. It gives him direction without controlling him. It invites him to rise without forcing him. Men respond to challenges when they come from a place of respect. A powerful sentence is not about controlling a man. It's about revealing yourself in a way that makes him see you differently. And once he sees you differently, he can never go back to seeing you the same way. Saying the right thing at the right time makes a man value you in ways he didn't before, because timing is one of the most powerful forces in human connection. You can say something meaningful, but if you say it when a man is distracted, overwhelmed, or emotionally shut down, it won't land. But if you say the same thing when he is searching for clarity, struggling with pressure, or questioning his direction, it hits completely differently. Timing shapes impact, and impact shapes memory. When a woman understands timing, she understands influence, not manipulation, but emotional awareness. She can gauge when a man is open to hearing something, when he needs reassurance, when he needs boundaries, and when he needs truth. And when she speaks at the right moment, her words